Yeah, I love it. I love how you touched on the complexity really of
Yeah.
the workforce and the different generations. We've discussed aspects of the multi-generational workforce on the podcast before. Back in episode 101, we talked about bridging the gaps in our
hmm
multi-generational workplace. What are some of the most common challenges you've seen among generations?
Ooh, I love this question. And I'll tell you why. Because I think the number one issue I see is ego. And the reason I say that is because ego tends to get in the way of allowing people to hear, absorb, share, get creative, and get innovative together. And so if we don't put ego aside or learn how to do that effectively as a community, we're stunting that community and the mission of that community. And so, I take when you look at the construct of my program and having a psychology background, one of the leaders in psychology, his name was Alfred Adler. And Alfred Adler was he worked with Freud. And he looked at Freud and he said, "I love what you've got going on, Freud, but here's the deal. Not everything is subconscious. There are other variables that influence behavior." And so, as I was growing in the human services clinical field, I very much appreciated Adler because he was the first humanistic psychiatrist rather, because he was an MD. And he was also the first, not just humanist, but the modern psychiatrist, right? And so he wanted to look at more than the subconscious. He wanted to look at all these different variables. And one of the biggest things that he recognized is people have a longing to belong. And the term that he used is Gemeinschaftsgefühl. It's a German term. It's a long term. It's like three words in one, right? And what it really means is community. And so when you look at that, and I look at Adler, whom I absolutely adore. I mean, there's been like, other great people out there, but when you look at Adler and you look at Gemeinschaftsgefühl and you look at community and our longing to belong, as human beings, we just want to feel connected to something. And when we feel disconnected, guess what? We fall out. We don't want to talk to other people. We don't connect. We disconnect. We silo. Communication gets siloed, innovation gets siloed. So when you don't have that connectedness or feeling of belonging, what happens is we're not meeting the mission. So again, if we're talking about the context of a business community, you're not going to meet the mission if you're not learning about the different generations within that community and how you might be able to support those generations to do better.
I love everything you said. Love everything you said. One way I describe it to your last point is I say that a lot of times multi-generational workplace issues are an undercurrent to everything else that's going on. And I also, loved your emphasis on Adler and, humanism because some of the listeners know I have a undergraduate degree in psychology and a master's in industrial and organizational psychology. And in psychology, you really study, to Summer's point, the different viewpoints, right? The different sects of psychology and these different arenas, and from different points of view. And yeah, humanism was definitely what spoke to me the most as well in study.